Today we'll cover last section of this second booklet, which is about comparing two numbers having powers. Comparing powers. Two very simple things we already saw, I think, that when we have base same, higher the power, higher the number. Here we are talking about positive powers. If negatives would be smaller than positive, because you know, for example, 2 raised to minus 3 is nothing but 1 by 2 raised to 3, which would be 1 by 8. So 1 से भी छोटा हो जाएगा. That number would be smaller than even 1. So there is that would be non-issue as far as comparing the numbers is concerned. So I might as well write 2 raised to minus 732, and you know that this is nothing but 1 by 2 raised to 7329, which is 1 by 2 raised to very huge number. This is very, very small number. 1 upon this, 1 divided by this huge number is nothing but a very, very small number. So that will always be smaller than all these numbers, right? And of course all these are positive numbers. None of them are negative numbers. Even if you take negative power, it just is not division, 1 upon positive power. So all these are positive numbers. Overall you get positive number, but very, very small positive numbers if we take large negative powers. So that's what case number 1. When we have a same base, then higher the power, higher the number. Then the case second was, if the power is same, higher the base, higher the number, right? So 2 raised to something, 2 raised to 3 would always be smaller than 3 raised to cube. Again we are talking about positive powers, we are not talking about negative powers, and this would be less than 3 point some number 127812 cube, because we are taking same power everywhere, we are cubing the number, but this base is higher than 3, so automatically the number would be bigger. If the power is same, higher the base, higher the number. If base is same, higher the power, higher the number. And again you can see the trend. But for negative powers, what would happen? If I continue with 2 raised to minus 3 and 3 raised to minus 3, this is 1 by 2 raised to 3 and this is 1 by 3 raised to 3, right? Which is 1 by 8 and it is 1 by 27. Now which is bigger, which is smaller? You know how to compare fractions? Cross multiplication. This is 8, this is 1, this is 27. So clearly this is bigger. Or you can also say that since the numerator is same, higher the denominator, smaller the number. Yeah, no? This is the comparison. So what I am trying to say is, if we are taking negative powers, if the power is same and we are taking negative power, then smaller the base, higher the number. Why? Because minus negative power is nothing but 1 upon positive power. So, and whenever we divide, whenever we are having 1 upon something, smaller the number in the denominator, larger would be the fraction. Fraction would be smaller than 1, 1 से छोटा ही होगा, but that would be smaller than 1, and higher the base, higher the value in the denominator, smaller would be the value of fraction. And denominator, if the denominator is as small as possible or smallest among the comparison, then that fraction would be largest, right? For example, 1 by 2 is larger than 1 by 3. 1 by 2 is also larger than 1 by 4, 1 by 5, 1 by 6 and anything. Similarly, 1 by 3 is larger than 1 by 4, 1 by 5, 1 by 7, etc. So that this negative power case is not mentioned here. So you can just note it down in your booklet for your reference if you want, that if you are taking negative powers, which is and power is same, then this rule would be reversed, that Smaller the base, higher the value. If we are taking negative powers, presumably all your friends are still on Diwali vacation, है ना? Guys, दिवाली खत्म हो चुकी है. Now you need to get back to work. अब अगले साल आएगी दिवाली, right? These also questions, some of which we dealt with last time. Which is greater, 2 raised to 5 or 3 raised to 5? 3 raised to 5 because power is same. Higher the base, higher the value. Which is greater, 2 raised to 5 or 3 raised to 4? In this case, you can directly calculate them. You know these are not big numbers. 2 raised to 5 is 32 that we calculate daily, and 3 raised to 4 is 81. That also we know daily. So 81 is clearly greater than 32. Then which is smaller, 2 raised to 10 or 3 raised to 6? You can do two things. You can either calculate both and do directly manually, or what you can do is you can see that in the powers you have 10 and 6. What is the HCF of 10 and 6? HCF, highest common factor, 2, right? Both are even numbers, so 2 is the factor. Only factors of 10 are 2 and 5. Only thing common with 6 is 2. भूलना नहीं है पुराना चीज, नया चीज पढ़ रहे इसका मतलब. You don't want to forget whatever we have learned till now just because we are learning a new thing. That is why we were purposely very slow in arithmetic, that all these are useful things throughout the course. We cannot forget them. So what we try to do is we are trying to form two numbers such that in the power section we get the same numbers. And how do we get the same numbers? HCF. We want HCF to be there and other things to be inside. So because HCF is 2, we want to write 2 raised to 10 as something square. How can we write it? 2 raised to 10 is nothing but 2 raised to 5 square, and 3 raised to 6 is nothing but 3 cube raised to 2. Clearly. And now we have same powers, then larger the base, larger the value, because positive powers are there. This base is 32, this base is 27. Which number would be larger? Well, the one on the left would be larger. So 2 raised to 10 is greater than 3 raised to 6, right? काम आ गया, सो रहे थे. अच्छा. Next question, 2 raised to 9 or 4 raised to 4? Now this 4 is nothing but 2 square. So 4 raised to 4 is 4 raised to 2 raised to 4 raised to 4 is 2 raised to 8, and 2 raised to 8 or 2 raised to 9, which will be bigger? 2 raised to 9 will be bigger. These are also same. 8 is power of 2, so you can convert 8 to the power 5 to powers of 2. 8 to the 5 is 2 raised to 15, na? So 2 raised to 15 would be larger. Then 3 raised to 25 or 27 raised to 8. Again 27 is 3 cube, you know. So this is 24, this is 25, so 25 would be larger. Then next next 3 raised to 27 or 4 raised to 16. Now our HCF is not going to work here because this is 2 power 4, this is 3 cube, so there is no common factor, so HCF is 1, right? HCF is 1. So what do we do? What we do is we try to use some known comparison to compare these two numbers. First and foremost, what should we do? We do not want to deal with 4 when we can deal with 2, because we can easily convert this into power of 2, right? This is 2 raised to 32. This is 2 raised to 32. Fine. Now I want to compare these two numbers. Now some intuition, either this number will be bigger or that number will be bigger. One of those two possibilities will be there, which is fine, fair. So I go with my hunch. मुझे कौन सा बड़ा लग रहा है? What I feel should be the greater of the two. I try with hunch. Now from my experience I know that 3 cube is 27, 3 fourth is 81, 3 fifth is 243. That I know, that powers of 3 go fast very very quickly. 27, 81, 243 बहुत तेजी से आगे बढ़ते हैं ना वो लोग. But powers of 2 are comparatively growing very very slowly. 8, 16, 32, 64, they are still less than 100. When even if we are at power 6, they are still less than 100. Power 7 goes to 128 and 256. It's very slow compared to powers of 3. And when I see here 32, here 27, there is not lot of difference. So it is, I feel that this number would be larger. You can go by other feel, arrive at the wrong answer, arrive at inconclusive thing, and then you have to try the other thing. That is possible. That is the last thing that can happen. But for now, I feel that this number should be larger. That is my feeling. So my starting step would be, I choose a power of 3 that I know is larger than power of 2. I choose a power of 3 that I know already that which is larger than power of 2. है कोई ऐसी? Is there such a power? Tell. For example, I know that 9 is greater than 8. I know this, right? So I have 3 square greater than 2 cube. This is my starting point now. Okay? Any issue? Huh? No issue? I don't know how to compare these two powers, but I do know some things. I do know some elementary things about comparing powers of 2 from my knowledge. I try to use that knowledge, that some powers I can compare to of 2 and 3. This is something I know. If my hunch is otherwise, if this is instead of 32 there is 40, and if I think that 2 raised to 40 should be bigger, then what would I start with? Then I would choose powers of 2 and 3 such that I know that power of 2 is bigger. For example, I would choose 2 raised to 5 bigger than 3 cube. 32 greater than 27. That would have been my starting point, which is possible, fair enough, right? Now from here I have to arrive at these powers, right? Now I feel that this is smaller, so I try to go from 2 raised to 3 to 2 raised to 32. I try to go as close to 2 raised to 32 as possible. Now both sides I can take power of 10. I can raise both sides by power of 10 and inequality won't change. So from here I can say that 3 raised to 2 raised to 10 is greater than 2 raised to 3 raised to 10. On both sides I raised by power of 10. Why am I doing it? I want to go close to 32. So I am trying to go to 30, and from there I can go to 32. From 30 I will then try to go to 32. But from 30 I'll get this inequality. From this I can arrive at this. What is this? This is 3 raised to 20 is greater than 2 raised to 30. Fine. Now from here I want to go to 2 raised to 32. I can simply multiply by 2 raised to 2 and I'll get to 2 raised to 32. I can multiply by 2 raised to 2 to arrive at 2 raised to 32. Right? And for sake of maintaining the inequality, I can multiply by 2 raised to 2 here as well. So what do I have? Sorry. So what do I have? 2 raised to, let us go to next page. What do I have? 2 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 20 is greater than 2 raised to 20, 2 raised to 32, na? Is what we arrive. Now we arrive at the required destination and we have a number which is definitely greater than this number. Okay. Now this 2 raised to 2 is definitely smaller than 3 raised to 2. Again I want to go from here to our 3 raised to 27. We have 3 raised to 20. I can say that this number is definitely smaller than 3 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 20, because 3 raised to 2 is greater than 2 raised to 2. I just want to get rid of this power of 2 now, because I'd rather work with power of 3, because everywhere else there is power of 3. So I have 3 raised to 22 greater than 2 raised to 32, and this is definitely smaller than 3 raised to 27. This is 22, so it is definitely smaller than 3 raised to 27. 27 से तो छोटा ही होगा. So this is nothing but we make a hunch, a guess, intuition for the comparison, and if that hunch is wrong, then automatically we'll get no answer and we'll try the other way, right? But according to our hunch, we choose numbers which are close enough, which comparison we already know, and then we try to arrive at these numbers, the smaller among them, and use our knowledge of exponent chapter to manipulate the inequality to arrive at the answer. Then again initial guess change होगा ना. If it is 3 raised to 27 and 2 raised to 40, this is substantial gap that is not easily visible. There is no factor common, so HCF won't work. If there was common factor, you could reduce the question to smaller numbers. That is not going to happen. So you make a hunch. Which of the two you think is bigger? कौन सा बड़ा होगा? क्या लग रहा है? You could be wrong, no problem. I also don't know which is bigger. We have just created this question out of the blue. Huh? Uh-huh. Okay. You still feel this should be bigger? Okay, let's try to go with his hunch. If he's wrong, we'll arrive at the wrong answer. So what do we have? We definitely know that 3 square is greater than 2 cube. That we know. Now from here we go to here. We can take 13th power on both sides. 13 threes of 39. Na? We want to go to 2 raised to 40. So I take 13th power and I'll go 13 to the 26, which is greater than 2 raised to 39. And I'll just have to multiply by 2 to arrive at 2 raised to 40. So I multiply by 2 on both sides. So I'll get 2. No, no, no. This is how is that raised to 10? 3 raised to 3 raised to 10 क्या होता है? So that is 27. Okay. हाँ 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 10. 9 नहीं ना, 3 raised to 10 है, 27 raised to 10 आएगा ना, 9 27 raised to 10 ना. हाँ हाँ, I understand, but you are saying 3 raised to 30, so 3 raised to 10 ना, so this is 27 raised to 10. 3 cube is 27. Three raised to 3 is 27 ना. हाँ 30. हाँ हाँ हाँ. हम्म हम्म. Right. Right. हाँ 16. हाँ. This is bigger. हाँ हाँ. That would have been correct अगर ये ऑलरेडी छोटा हो जाता इससे. अगर ये ऑलरेडी तुम्हारे जैसे 9 रेस टू 10 बोल रहे हो वैसा आता ना, तो दिस इज बिगर, सो बिगर पावर इज ऑल्सो स्मॉलर. बट ये मतलब 3 रेस टू 30 भी छोटा है, तो 3 रेस टू 27 छोटा होगा ही. वैसे वो लॉजिक वर्क करता. बट इन दिस केस दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन बिकॉज इट इज 27 रेस टू 10. बट गुड आइडिया. इट मे वर्क सम प्लेस एल्स. इट इज नॉट वर्किंग आउट हियर. फाइन, फेयर इनफ. वो नहीं पता हमें कौन सा क्या कहाँ पे जाएगा. So again we arrive at here, which is definitely greater than, we can change this 2 by 3 because 3 is greater than 2, so we'll get 3 raised to 27. We got the comparison now. Right. So again there could be some initial hunch. If I had opposite hunch, I would have gotten wrong answer. It's possible. We try to use known notions to arrive at the correct answer. Now let us take a number which is now definitely should be bigger. 2 raised to 50 has to be bigger than 2 raised to 3 raised to 27. Right? Now there is substantial difference between the powers. So this should be bigger. So how do I go about it? I take a power of 2 which is I know is bigger than power of 3. 2 raised to 5 is bigger than 3 cube. Now from this I want to go to smaller of the two. Smaller, as I am thinking, that is my perception that that number should be smaller. So I want to go from here to here. What do? I take how much power? Huh? I take 9th power. What do I get here? 9 fours are. I take 9th power. So here we have 2 raised to 45, which is greater than 3 raised to 27, and 2 raised to 50 is bigger than this. Okay. 2 raised to 34 or 3 raised to 26. Here there is another modification or idea we can use. If I have to compare 2 raised to 34 and 3 raised to 26, the HCF is clearly 2, but even with HCF I'll get 2 raised to 17 and 3 raised to 13, which is again difficult to compare. So instead what do I do is I reduce these numbers to some smaller number which I know that are much better to deal with. For example, I reduce this 34 to 32 and 26 to 22. Then what would be HCF? If I have 33 here and 22 here, then what would be HCF? 11. So if I write this as 2 into 2 raised to 33, and I write this as 3 raised to 4 into 3 raised to 22. Okay, fine. Now this is nothing but 2 into 2 raised to 3 raised to 11, and this is 3 raised to 4, 3 raised to 2 raised to 11. Right? Now this is 8 and this is 9. Which is bigger? 9 is bigger? Definitely. So this power is bigger than this, and this is bigger than this. Automatically this would be the relation. Both the factors here that are getting multiplied are bigger on the RHS. That is again another modification you can use. Understood? So what is the conclusion of all these things? Whenever we want to compare, what we can do is, first thing we look for HCF. If the HCF is reducing the number by a lot, then we directly try to represent both the numbers as something to the power HCF, something to the power HCF, and because powers are then same, larger the base, larger would be the number. Then we'll get to know about the larger. That was our first try. Second thing we tried was we made a guess that what we think should be a bigger number or a smaller number, and then tried to use the known result among the powers of those given numbers, mostly 2 and 3, to arrive at the given relation. That is what we tried to do. And the third thing we used or tried to use is, if we have a powers like 34 and 26 here, which do not have some very attractive HCF. If HCF is just 2 here, so even if I reduce it, I'll get to write it as 2 raised to 17 raised to 2 and 3 raised to 13 raised to 2, right? Even if I try to write it in powers of HCF, HCF being just 2, I'm not very happy with it. So I tried to write this into some numbers such that HCF is very good. So instead of 34, I can reduce it to 33. For this 26, I write as 22, and now HCF is 11, which I am very happy with, and I can directly compare these numbers. And fortunately, both the multiples, both the factors here come bigger on the RHS, so I have definite inequality. Agar ulta ho jata, if this instead of 2 here, I had 2 raised to 10, then I would not be able to compare like this, because this is bigger than this, but this is bigger than this. So I don't know how the multiplication is going to affect the inequality. Okay, so I told you 3 methods that you can go about. Yes, this is a bit trial and error, but UPSC whenever has asked question on this has asked very elementary question. So tension मतलब उतना टफ नहीं आएगा जितना हम कर रहे हैं. We are trying to go one step beyond what they might ask. Even if you find it very strange or non-intuitive to begin with, this is not something that is going to get asked. Whatever they have asked is very elementary, very doable quickly. Now let us do next question. Question is decide comparison of root 2 and cube root of 3. Root 2 and cube root of 3. Root 2 and cube root of 3. Root 2 is nothing but 2 raised to 1 by 2 and root 3 is 3 raised to 1 by 3. You already know this from our fractions chapter. This is how fraction exponents look like. Taking square root is nothing but taking half power. And taking cube root is nothing but 1/3 power. In general, nth root of a, we can write it as a raised to 1 by n. Recall this, we have already done this. So this power I don't know how to compare with, but what I do know that if I have denominator somehow same, or if I have power somehow same, if I have base same or power same, then I can happily deal with it. Anyway, first job is I don't like these fractions, I want to get rid of these fractions, right? How do we get rid of the fractions? Yes, we can take both sides. We take 6th power. 6 is LCM of 2 and 3. So I can take 6th power on both sides to get rid of the fractions. Fractions are making me very uncomfortable. I am not able to see what is happening. So I'll just get rid of the fractions by taking 6th power. Why 6th? LCM of 3 and 2. I want to get rid of it. Inequality won't change, whatever is there. Now this is 2 raised to 3 and this is 3 raised to 2. Now I know which is larger. Fair enough. Easy है. Starting में it might have seemed like इसको कैसे compare करें, but this simple extension of whatever we have learned. Just get rid of the fractions and you will arrive at the answer. And you can verify this using your phones. In your calculators you can calculate root 2 and calculate cube root of 3. This number would be bigger. And I can have here anything then. If I have, let us say, 4th root of 4. If I also have that number, then I want you to find out relation between these two. Question is which of them is larger. If question is which of them is larger, how would you go about it? This is 3 raised to 3, this is 1 by 4 raised to 1 by 4. Then I want to get rid of the fractions first. How do we get rid of the fractions? Take some power. What power should I take here? (24) is fine, 12 is also fine. You don't need to go to 24. But 24 is also going to work, no issues. Just number would become smaller. Because if you go to 24, this will become 2 raised to 12. Na? So 2 raised to 12 is still a bigger number. But if I take 12th power, LCM is 12. You can always rely on LCM to get rid of the fraction. So 2 raised to 2, half raised to 12 is 2 raised to 6. This would be 3 raised to 4. And that would be 4 raised to 3. 2 raised to 6 is 64. This is 81. 4 cube 64. Which is the largest? Right? So it is not necessary that सबसे पहला वाला है सबसे आखिरी वाला ही बड़ा या छोटा होगा. It can be anything. Like here, middle one is the greatest. Now try to solve these two questions. This is just our class question. Here you can clearly see the HCF. This 50, 40, 30, 20. So 10 is clearly HCF. You can write the base to the power 10. Tell me the answer for this, and this is CSE 2022 question. That also you can try it. Ashwini, Amrita, Yashraj, any issues, any problem in whatever we have covered till now? No? Good. Good. I hope you will not get frightened now whenever you see question like this, which is actually very easy but just looks daunting. Question answer is 4 is to 40. Okay, and this you can try CSE 2022 question and just see how easy the question was. I think you're right. Amrita is not 4 is to 40. Solve the last 3 questions as well. See if you can do them. What is the answer of CSE 2022 question? Ritisha? इसका क्या है? 3/50 आया नहीं, तुम देखो. What we do is, of course, we firstly observe that all are powers of 10. ये आ रहा है. Let us see. It is nothing but HCF is 10. So we can write it as 4/40/10, 3/5/5 cube raised to 10, and 6 square raised to 10. Right? Now because we have same power, larger the base, larger would be the number. So it is just about calculating these powers. 3/5 is what? 243, because 3/4 is 81. 3/5 is 243. 4/4 is 4/4 is also 2/8. 2/5 is 32. 6 is 64. 7 is 128. 8 is, so this is 256. Or 4 cube is 64. 4/4 would be 64 into 4. You can calculate it. 5 cube and 6 square is 36. Now which is the largest? Okay. And what is the answer of this CSE 2022 question? You are getting 2. You are getting B, na? I also have A as the answer here. Niranjan, what do you think? Okay, Yashraj, Amrita, Ashwini, all are saying A. First thing we can see that this 4 and 8 are powers of 2. So we can firstly convert them into powers of 2 and compare these three directly. Because base would be same, higher the power, higher would be the number. So 2/40, 3/21, this would be 2/36, and this would be, the question is smallest. So 2/40 cannot be smallest because there are smaller number available. So it's gone. And there will not be two answers for one question. So of course answer would be 3/21. That much is certain. Of course, दो आंसर तो होंगे नहीं एक क्वेश्चन के. So answer would be 3/21. But let us see if we can compare it otherwise. We should be able to arrive at the answer without help of that. So what you can do is, you can use any of the method. One is, of course, you can use the HCF wala, no issues, right? It is not that difficult. You will get here 3/7/3. Maybe calculating 3/7 is a bit challenging. Or you can start with known powers and try to reach to 21 or 36. Or what you can do is, we can reduce it, each of them by 1, and then HCF would be 5. We can write it as 3 into 3/20, and you can write it as 2/35 into 2. So this would be 3 into 3/4/10. This would be 2/7. No, this is 5. No? So this number 2/7 is 128. and this is 3 raised to, this is 81, this is 128. So this number is bigger than this number, but 3 is bigger than 2. So directly we should not be able to comment, but because this is much larger power, this is much larger power, so growth rate would be much faster even in power compared to just 3 and 2 here. So this would be logically smaller. हाँ हाँ कहाँ पे? 40 तो गया, 40 is bigger than these two ना. हाँ okay, you can do the comparison method is direct here. So you know that 3 cube is less than 2 raised to 5. You can take 7th power directly. Here you will get 3 raised to 21 should be less than 2 raised to 35, it would be less than 2 raised to 36. This would be much direct, right? And in this particular case you don't even need to do all that, because there has to be unique answer. There cannot be two answers, these two are same numbers, this is much bigger, so answer has to be 3 raised to 21. That is also something you can rationally surmise. But if you want to arrive at the answer, you can arrive at there simply. Because you want to conclude anyway, this is smaller, so you start with 3 cube less than 2/5 and take 7th power and you arrive at the answer directly. Fine. Or you can do 3 raised to 7 cube and 2 raised to 12 cube, and you calculate these two numbers by repeated multiplication, of course. 3 raised to 7 is nothing but 3 raised to 4 into 3 raised to 3, and this is 2 raised to, what is the known power? 7 into 2 raised to 5, let us say. So calculate this. This is nothing but 243 into 27, and that is 128 into 32. Calculate these two multiplications. The larger one would be larger number. This is also, this is a little bit brute force method. बाकी कुछ नहीं तो मल्टीप्लिकेशन तो कर ही लेंगे ऐसा वाला. Silly mistake, you guys tried to find the larger one. Great. Easy question में -3 ले लिया. Read the question very carefully. And this is happening to you inside our classroom. Imagine all of this only with little bit examplation. Right? Now last 3 questions. Which of them is larger? 10 की power is same. Of course, 6, the larger the multiple that is available, larger to be the number. No doubt. Huh? Second one, which is smaller? Now look, power of 10 are different. First thing, you make the power of 10 same. What you can do is, you can make this 12 into power of 8 by multiplying 0.33 by 10 raised to 4. So this would become 3300 into 10 raised to 8. Now we have 10 raised to 8 same. Larger the number, larger would be the fraction. So smaller is this fraction. Question is smaller. Again, वो same mistake नहीं करनी. Last 12 into 8 raised to 6. Firstly, whenever you get factors of 2 and 3, let us first reduce them. In fact, powers of 2 and 3. Let us not deal with 8, 4, 9 separately. Let us deal with only 2 and 3. So doing that, you can write 12 as 3 into 4, 2 square. So it would be nothing but, and this is 2 square into 3, and 8 is 8 to the power 6 is 2 raised to 18. into 6. So this is 2 raised to 18. And RHS is 4 is 2 square and 9 cube is 3 raised to 6 ना. देखो फिर से ऐसे सिले मिस्टेक्स मत करो यार. So we have 2 square here and there also. You can cancel. No issues. All are in multiplication. And now here we have, and 3 we can cancel 1. Right? So here we have 2 raised to 18 and here we have 3 raised to 5. Now we can decide which is greater. We know how to deal with powers of 2 and 3. Which is greater? Definitely this. This is 243 into 3. This is 600 something maximum. But 2 raised to 18 is a big number now. 2 raised to 6 is 64. 2 raised to 7 is 128. 2 raised to 8 is 256. 2 raised to 9 would be 500 something. 2 raised to 10 is 1048. 1024. 1048. 1024. Right? सही है कि नहीं है? सही है. 1024 is 2 raised to 10. So the number has already gone beyond 1000 with only 10th power, and we are still having 8 powers to go. So this is much larger. There is no doubt about it. You can conclude this just by calculating as well. No need to actually dive into methods or think about which method to apply. You can directly see that this is small enough power. It is not more than 600-700 wala value, but this is much bigger value. Understood the 3 methods that we saw. What we tried first and foremost was we were looking for HCF, and if HCF was reducing the numbers by writing all the numbers into powers of that HCF, the larger the base, larger the value, that principle was applicable, right? At the very least we used to reduce the problem. Even in case of 2 raised to 36 and 3 raised to 30 क्या था 26 था ना, 26 and 34. Even in this case, even if we apply the HCF, you will get right. So at the very least we have reduced our problem in comparing 17 and 13 instead of 34 and 26. उतना तो हो ही जाता है, right? HCF is at least helpful in making the problem smaller, even if it doesn't directly solve the problem. So first was HCF. Second thing we did was we tried to guess what would be the answer. Our intuition, whatever it said, from our experience of course, that this should be bigger or that should be bigger, and we went with our intuition and tried to use the known relations of powers of those numbers to arrive at the given answer, and then we took common power of both the sides, multiply both the sides by some numbers, etc., to arrive at the given numbers. And the third thing we tried to do was, if we didn't have satisfactory HCF, we tried to reduce the given powers to some extent by writing it as multiplication, so that I have a good HCF to reduce the problem drastically. That was the 3 methods that we saw. And as you saw, PYQ is not very many from this chapter, but there are very simple questions that have been asked. So छूटना नहीं चाहिए in case they ask. It's very repeatable question, no problem, आ ही सकता है फिर से, and very easy as well. There is absolutely no challenge if you are just to compare powers of 2 and 3, and they would not go beyond that. That is my assumption. But if they do, you are now capable to handle that. Just try to use the HCF wala principle or the known powers. That would be most helpful, 2 of them. In worksheet there are few problems. Try to work it out, and if you have any doubts, we can resolve them in class. Okay. Online students, should we move to next booklet? Did you guys collect it? बाहर से ले लो, ले लो, ले लो. Today we'll cover geometry as far as possible in today's class, and tomorrow's class we want to finish geometry, and then in this week only we'll cover comprehension basic lecture that we intend to cover so that we can start solving comprehensions throughout our course. There will be one comprehension lecture, as I said, where we'll see when was it introduced, why was it introduced, what different kinds of questions are asked, what are their meanings, how are option set, etc. The basics of comprehension. I presume you are familiar with it since you are all given prelims, but we'll cover the basics of it, and from there on we can start solving comprehension in every class. Comprehension, as I said, is not a skill that can be honed in a day or two. It needs persistent practice. It needs you to work on your reading speed. I hope you all are reading your are working on your reading speed, because that will come in very, very, very handy in examination hall throughout the course of this examination, not only limited to CSAT. So kindly pay attention to it if you have not been as of now. And yes, this is a last week before the break. After that we'll have 2 week break because I am not available, of course, and we'll resume after 2 weeks, and we'll cover the syllabus as per schedule, no problem. We may have to take some extra lectures, 1 or 2 here and there, but will not extend the time required. We'll cover the syllabus by February, definitely, no problem. 4 months was the duration. That should be enough. So by February you would be free. After that you can continue to practice on your own, and you can join the test series elsewhere if you want. You can solve on your own if you want, and we will be providing you with our test series as well. There will be 4 tests as part of that test series, and 4 sectional tests are there. First of which is going to be held around 25. You will be notified. I hope all of you are on the Telegram channel, and on your portal also it will come that whenever the test would be. हाँ, आप नहीं हो क्या उसमें? Tell them to add. ठीक, जो रिसेप्शन पे होती है मैडम, उन tell them and she will add you. So next week, based on whatever we will cover in this week, basically arithmetic, comparing size of numbers, geometry, and comprehension. Comprehension also will cover this week. Comprehension you anyway know also, so you can try to solve comprehension. Full 80 क्वेश्चन का रखना है, छोटा रखना है? 2 hours 80 क्वेश्चंस रखना है, छोटा रखना है, कैसा रखना है? आप बताओ, what do you want? You want full 80 questions or you want lesser number of questions, like half a paper? Because then the repetition will have to be done in 80 questions. तो हमने cover ही उतना किया है. ठीक है, कर लो. Arithmetic questions would get repeatable होंगे बहुत सारे, because we have just covered 2-3 chapters as of now. Arithmetic is a big one, right? But let us see. I came across a puzzle yesterday. Okay, very nice kind of brain teaser. Something UPSC sometimes asks. The question is, a boy goes to a shopkeeper. He has 15 rupees. he has 15 rupees and he buys 15 chocolates with those 15 rupees. 1 rupees, 1 chocolate. And the shopkeeper has an offer that if you give me 3 wrappers back, I will give you 1 chocolate extra. Question is, how many maximum number of chocolates can he buy with those 15 rupees? Can he get with this 15 rupees? समझ रहे हो ना? So, हाँ? Online students, did you understand the questions? समझ रहे हो कि नहीं? क्या आ रहा है आंसर? पक्का 2? Let us say he has 15 chocolates. He gets 15 chocolates. Now he has 15 wrappers as well. He will give them to shopkeeper and he'll get 5 chocolates. For 3 wrappers, 1 chocolate. So 5 chocolates he'll get. Now 5 chocolates he eats and there are 5 wrappers. Out of those 5 wrappers, he will give 3 to the shopkeeper. He'll get 1 chocolate. And 2 wrappers he already has extra. And that 1 chocolate he gets. So he got a 1 extra wrapper. So answer would be 22. Options यही होंगे 15, 20, 21, 22. करो सॉल्व. Nice kind of brain teaser. Something you never know. यूपीएससी कहाँ से क्या उठा ले. एग्जामिनर में पता चला रील्स ही देखता होगा दिन भर, है ना? मैंने भी तो रील में ही देखा. You never know from where they pick these kind of questions. They can be from anywhere. Huh? Last year? हाँ. History is series of victories of scientific man over romantic man. But if you see, that is a very persistent trend with UPSC. That rationality versus creativity. That theme is persistent. That rational man versus romantic man, like in this essay, scientific man versus romantic man, or science versus arts, arts versus humanity, arts and humanity, science versus humanities. So this kind of theme they quite a lot daggle with. So this time they but again CSE 21 paper was 22 paper and 21 papers were quite challenging in that respect. 23 paper was much easier, as in compared to last 3-4 years. Because topics, understanding the topics was not a challenge. Everybody who read the topic knew what the topic wanted is to write. वो लिख पा रहे हो कि नहीं उतना वो अलग बात है, but they knew that what they were expected to write. Even when I sent the paper to my father, he said that I think this I understand, this was a bit easier in last 3-4 years I suppose. Because every year he knows that if you read the topic you don't understand the topic. क्या चल रहा है, क्या पूछना क्या चाह रहा है भाई, क्या लिखूं मैं. तो वो नहीं हुआ. Mindful manifesto is catalyst of tranquil self. लिखो बेटा, 12 पेज लिखो इस पे, है ना. Okay. Anyway, we want to now cover some basic geometry, not beyond what you have studied in schools. Of course, we will not go beyond that, and we'll see the PYQs. We'll see what extent they are going, and accordingly we will prepare ourselves or brace ourselves. Again, basics, you already know what is a point. Point is a location is space. It is represented by a dot named with uppercase letter. So this is point A, is undividable, indestructible, last point. Then you have straight line. Straight line is infinitely directed towards both the direction. It can stretch infinitely. It is, and we are all talking about what is happening in a plane. This is a plane. We are not talking about in 3D. We are talking about 2D, what is happening on a plane or a piece of paper. And we are dealing with Euclidean geometry. Euclidean geometry means any kind of geometry or any kind of mathematical system for that matter is based on certain axioms. कुछ चीजें assume करी जाती है कि ये तो true ही है, उसके बाद ही वो system चालू होती है. We always start with certain axioms. Every mathematical system has its assumptions. And for the geometry that we cover, it is called the Euclidean geometry, where the 5 assumptions of Euclid form the basis of that geometry, and on those assumptions, everything else is structured. Everything else follows from those assumptions. And Euclid, I think he was there in 200 or 300 BC. He wrote his very famous book Elements, which is still considered incredible work of geometry. He worked it out. So there are assumptions, like assumptions are something like मतलब तुम बोलोगे हाँ ये तो सच ही होगा, इसमें क्या problem है? So a straight line joins 2 points, something like that. 2 parallel lines never meet. These are some of the assumptions. I don't remember all the 5. I did when I was in school. Of course, I don't now. But anyway, so point is we are dealing in plane. So line, it is denoted by 2 uppercase letters A, B, and in both the direction it can go indefinitely. Then line segment is part of a line. It is definitive part of a line. It has definite length. It has definite endpoints. अगर definite endpoints है, if part of a line has definite endpoints, then it is called line segment. So this is AB. Is called line AB, line segment AB, and because it has definite endpoints, it would have certain length, right? Maybe in this case, let us say 15 centimeter, right? Some definitive length would be there. Notice that line has no endpoints. Line goes indefinitely in both direction. Line segment has endpoints. It has length in meters, centimeters. The line segment will also have midpoint because it has endpoints. So here would be midpoint of the line segment. Line का कोई middle नहीं होता, midpoint नहीं होता. Line has no midpoint. Any point on the line you can consider as midpoint because it goes infinitely in both the direction. And we can divide the line segment in any given ratio. So you can divide this, let us say, in 1/2, right? That also we can definitely do. Then internal and external division, again something on which question has been asked. I am not teaching unnecessary things. You will see that some questions have been asked. What do we mean by internal and external division is, we saw that line segment can be divided into 2 parts. So another point, for example, this is, let us say, line AB, line segment AB. So it will have certain length. So there would be a point in between A and B which divides this AB in ratio m:n. Again, let us assume for our purpose this m/n is a proper fraction. Proper fraction का मतलब क्या है? What do we mean by proper fraction? Denominator is bigger, nothing else. Just be familiar with the terminologies. So if P is a point in between AB such that it divides given line segment in this ratio, in given ratio m by n. So mn is also given, what is given? Line segment is given and this ratio is given. Okay, this ratio is given and line segment is given. Then what we are saying is एक कोई बीच में होगा point ऐसा, there would be a point in between these two somewhere which divides the line in this ratio. It is called internal division because point is internal to AB, and there is one point beyond outside of AB which divides this AB in the same ratio. How? AQ is to QB. AQ is to QB is also M is to N. Is possible? So this is called external division. The point is external to AB. And Q has to be this side because we are saying proper fraction, so M is less than N. तो अगर Q वहां पे चला गया, if Q is outside on this side, then QB would be much smaller and QA would be much bigger. So M, which is QA, divided by N, which is QB, would be much bigger than 1, which is not there because M by N we know is given fraction which is smaller than 1. M is smaller than N. that is what we have assumed. The point I am trying to make here is that we have only one point in the internal in between those two that divides in the given ratio, and only one point in the external on that line segment, and only one point external to AB that divides given line segment in the given ratio. समझ रहे हो? एक पॉइंट होगा जो इंटरनल डिवाइड करेगा, एक पॉइंट होगा जो एक्सटर्नल, और दो ही पॉइंट होंगे. There would be only 2 points that divide given line segment in this given ratio. One would divide it internally, another would divide it externally. And internal division meaning this AP is to PB is M is to N, and external division is AQ is to QB is also M is to N. Any issues so far? Now let us see the question. CSE 2021. Read the question. बताओ क्या हुआ, चुप बैठ गए सब लोग? 2, 1। Why are you guys thinking so much? अभी बताया ना, that will be 1 point for internal division, 1 point for external division. So 1 ratio for internal division, 1 ratio for external division. So answer is 2. Yes. यही है बस. But because you have forgot your geometry classes from your class, from your school, you will face difficulty if you see this question. You will get fire attend. भाई ये क्या पूछ लिया, ऐसे कैसे निकालूं? This is just about internal and external division of a line segment. Okay, there will be 1 ratio for internal division and another ratio for external division, and they even don't need you to calculate those ratios. That is even not asked. Just want you to tell you, just want you to guess how many ratios would be there. Maximum 2 ratios would be there. Now, why are they different? Because this different ratio is asked. PQ is to QR is not asked. PQ is to PR is asked. That is why we will get 2 different ratios. If PQ is to QR पूछा होता तो same ही है ratio. Then answer would be 1 of course. But PQ is to PR पूछा है, that is why answer is 2. Cool? हाँ? तो कैलकुलेट करने को बताया नहीं है, पूछा ही नहीं है वो. रेशियो क्या है नहीं, they are not interested. They are just interested in how many ratios are there. Next concept is collinear points. What do you think they are, just by hearing the name? Collinear, line में. हाँ, the points which are on the same line are called collinear points. So if I draw a line like this, all these are called collinear points, right? And 2 points are always collinear, because if you give me 2 points anywhere in the space, I can have a line passing through them. Basically 2 points define a line. कोई भी 2 पॉइंट दे दो मुझे, उनके बीच में से एक लाइन जाएगी. Any 2 points will define a line, and that line would be unique. एक ही लाइन जाएगी उन दोनों में से, of course. Then what we have? Intersecting lines. What are intersecting lines? Lines which intersect in a point. And what we are talking about? We are talking about everything in a plane. We are not going beyond the plane. Okay. In 3D geometry, there could be intersecting line, there could be non-intersecting line, there could be skew lines, parallel lines, there could be multiple types of lines. But here that is not the case. Here we are having intersecting lines, meaning the two lines which intersect each other at some point. The lines which do not intersect are called parallel lines, right? Lines which do not intersect are called parallel lines. And because everything is in plane, these are the only 2 possibilities. या तो intersect करती है या नहीं करती है. If we were in 3D, we can have lines like this. Like एक line नीचे से जा रही है, एक ऊपर से जा रही है. They are not intersecting, but they are not parallel either. They are not parallel, है ना? So these are called skew lines in 3D geometry, not part of our course, not our concern. Then we have concurrent lines. नाम सुन के ही लग रहा होगा. What are they? multiple lines would be passing through a one single point would be called concurrent lines. So there are three lines which intersect each other at this particular point. They are called concurrent lines. Collinear points, concurrent lines, parallel lines, intersecting lines. Just terminologies पता होनी चाहिए. You just need to be familiar with the terminologies in case UPSC decides to use them, because they have said 10th class and these terminologies are there until 10th class, so you should be familiar with them. ऐसा कोई अलग चीज नहीं बोल रहे या फिर कोई तोप चीज नहीं बोल रहे. ऑफ कोर्स नाम दे रहे बस, बट वो नाम तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए, इतना बात है. नहीं नहीं यार, 10th में था, सबके लिए था, कौन से बोर्ड में नहीं था बताओ तुम. Now we have covered so many PYQs. You tell me which question was beyond 10th class. No, we have used nothing that was not expected of a 10th class boy. You just don't remember तुमने 10th class में कितना पढ़ा था, है ना? If you हाँ, if you pick up your books of 10th class, you will see that you have covered much more than what we are covering. Because our course is designed to crack, sufficiently get score in the examination. हम 6 साल का मैथमेटिक्स नहीं पढ़ा रहे इधर. We are teaching the crux of it, not everything of it. Geometry, I cannot teach 6 years of geometry which you studied in schools in one class. Of course I cannot. But I can give you overview so that whatever is relevant for us, that could be covered. And that is our only aim. We are not covering theorems, we are not covering proofs. You did that in your 10th classes. What are you telling me? You didn't. होता ही है, हर बोर्ड में होता है. प्रूफ्स होते हैं, थ्योरम्स होते हैं, एग्जाम में आते हैं बाकायदा. वो करे होंगे तुमने उस टाइम पे. अब याद नहीं है वो अलग बात है. दैट इज थिंग. अब केस वर्क करने वालों को क्या है, करने दो. सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक जाएंगे और क्या होगा. यूपीएससी तो कोई किसी को घास डालने नहीं वाला. There was this case, do you remember? They went to Supreme Court. The guy went to Supreme Court. I think it was in 2010 or something. And he wanted to review his copies. Something like that. Because he was not happy with it, something. So Supreme Court ordered UPSC to show him his copies. And UPSC lawyer decided that they wanted to adopt different strategy. And he just started dilatory strategy. अगली तारीख आएगा ही नहीं, वो सुनवाई पे नहीं आएगा, कर लो जो करना है. And after 6 months got over, he told the court that as per our procedure all the answer copies have been shredded. Sorry, अब नहीं हो सकता कुछ. So they will not yield to anyone. अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के साथ ये कर सकते हैं तो कुछ भी कर सकते हो. और कौन रह गया भाई. That is the thing. Yes, जरूरी है. We are talking about plane ना. What? हाँ. So if they are not parallel, they are something like this. Let me draw even more. Right. Slight angle है. Exactly parallel नहीं है. But both of them can go till infinity. Both of them can go indefinitely in both the direction. तो आगे जाके डिस्टेंस कम होता रहेगा, तो कहीं ना कहीं जाके मिलेंगी वो. In a plane, in a Euclidean geometry, what we are talking about is when lines are not parallel, they will intersect somewhere in the plane, because they can both extend in both the direction infinitely. We are not talking about line segment, we are talking about lines here. Parallel lines that are not intersecting are parallel. Parallel lines do not intersect each other when extended indefinitely. So parallel lines, you can extend them indefinitely in both the directions. They do not intersect. Distance between them remains same. कुछ distance है ना इन दोनों के बीच में, that will remain same. कितना भी चले जाओ, किसी भी direction में चले जाओ, they will exactly remain parallel. And perpendicular, do you know this term perpendicular? Gangs of Wasseypur देखिए किसी ने? देखिए उसमें नहीं होता हुआ परपेंडिकुलर और टेंजेंट. There are these characters in that movie. One calls himself perpendicular because he hits the blade perpendicular to the skin, and another is tangent because he hits tangent to the skin. Perpendicular is basically if we have a line segment, perpendicular to this line segment would be a line or a line segment making angle of 90 degree with it. So we call these two lines or line segments as perpendicular. Because these are parallel lines, if we draw a perpendicular vertical line, this would be perpendicular to both the lines. Okay. Now with this line, with this knowledge, try to solve this CSE 2015 question. Just read it carefully, and because it's a geometry question, try to draw it. Okay. आ गया सबका? Everybody got the answer? Again, old question, so very easy. पुराने जमाने का क्वेश्चन है ना, 8 साल पुराना क्वेश्चन है. उस टाइम पे नहीं आते थे डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन. आई ऑलरेडी सेड दिस. 2015 was the year first time CSAT was made qualifying. The paper pattern didn't change, just difficulty level remained the same. So people got used to get ridiculous marks in CSAT, like 180 190 भी आते थे लोगों को 200 में से. तो मतलब बाकी दूसरा पेपर तो रिडंडेंट हो जाता था. दे जस्ट डिडंट नीड द अदर पेपर. 50 भी आ जाए 60 भी आ जाए कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इफ यू गेट 180 इन वन पेपर, of course you are making other paper redundant. So we have line x is perpendicular to line y and parallel to line z. We know what this means. Let us draw this. Line x is perpendicular to line y. Let us say that this is x and this is y, and these are lines, so we'll show arrowhead on the both sides, and parallel to line z. So what do we mean? Z kaisa hai? How is z? X is perpendicular to both y but parallel to z, na? So z is also in this direction, right? Because it is parallel to x. Line x is perpendicular to line y and parallel to line z. So this is line x is perpendicular to line y and parallel to line z. Line u is perpendicular to both v and w. Okay, that is independent information. Let us see how that is useful in from the next. Line x is perpendicular to line v. So v is something like this, perpendicular to x. And what then, let us go back to this. U is perpendicular to both v and w. So v is vertical, so w would also be vertical, and u is like this. So what do we have? We have to just tell which are parallel, which are perpendicular. Y, v and w are parallel, right? Very easy question. Next terminology is ray. Ray is in between line segment and line. What we have is one fixed point A, and from there you have a line segment, line extending to one side. So ray has a point, and then a straight line extends on only on the one side of that ray. One fixed point, another point does not have an end. It means that ray has one terminating end while other end is extending infinitely. एक end इधर जा रहा है. Ray can be like, if we have another point B here, we will say it as ray AB. Ray AB. Next is angles. What is angle? When any two straight lines or line segments or rays intersect at a point, they form an angle. They form some orientation between them. Angle is formed when two straight lines or rays meet at a common endpoint. Common endpoint is called vertex of an angle. ठीक है? Types of angles. First is complete or total angle. So if I take any point in the space and draw these random rays coming out of it, so we will be forming multiple angles here. Let us call them A, B, C, D. What we are saying is this A plus B plus C plus D is 360 degrees. This is called a complete angle. Total angle or complete angle around a point. Why do you think 360 लिया है? Whenever we measure angle, perpendicular मतलब right angle triangle हम देखते हैं. तो right angle 90 डिग्री क्यों है भाई? Why is 180, 90, 360? ये numbers कहाँ से आए? Why are these numbers selected for our angles, special angles? Like in right angle triangle, it is triangle with one angle as 90 degree. There is 30, 60, 90 triangle. There is 45, 45, 90 triangle. Then we have sum of three angles of a triangle is pi or 160 degree, 180 degrees. Then we are saying complete angle or total angle is 360 degrees. Like if I have any point and I draw random rays coming out of it, then sum of all the angles that are forming at a point around this is 360 degree. So why this 360 degree? Why not like 100, 1000? Some simple number 100 we can choose. What is the reason behind this 360? What do you think? कुछ होगा इसमें या ऐसे ही चूज किया होगा रैंडम? Is actually bit of a convention. There is no mathematics behind it, because ancient Babylonians, when they were working with geometry, they had a base 60 system of numbers. For example, we use decimal system. From 0 to 9 digits we have, and whenever we want to go to 10 or the next digit, we write it as 10, right? It is a base 10 system. Every position of our numbers is units position, tens position, hundreds position, like powers of 10. Or on the other side of decimal, 1 by 10th position, 1 by 100th position, 1 by 1000th position, and so on. This is how our place values work in decimal system. Similarly, they used to use base 60 system. So units position would be whatever in the units place into 60 raised to 0. Then would be 60's place, then 60 square space place, then 60 cubes place, etc. Like we are using 10, they used to use 60. Further, this 360 is a nice number, lot of factors, divisible by lot of numbers, है ना? 4 से divisible है, 5 से है, 6 से है, अच्छा number है. So they just continued with the convention. There is no mathematical rationale behind choosing total angle as 360 or right angle as 90 degree or etc. It is just a convention. This is total angle. Next is straight angle. So whenever we have a straight line, we have this angle getting formed at every point. This is half of the total angle, or 180 degree. Why? We can have any point and I can draw a straight line through it. So we are having two total angles, two straight angles getting formed at every point, and we are saying total angle is nothing but 360 degrees. So straight angle would be half of that, 180 degrees, right? So if I have a straight line like this and I have a ray intersecting this, it's, let us say, A, then what is this angle plus this angle? A plus B, 180 degrees. That is what we are saying. This is a straight angle, 180 degrees. This small a plus small b would be 180 degrees. Like that, 4 angles sum would be 360 for total angle. Here sum of the straight angles would be 180 degrees. Next is something you are already familiar with, right angle or angle measuring 90 degree. Here those two rays or lines meeting are called perpendicular to each other. They are meeting in 90 degree or perpendicular to each other. Next is acute angle. Acute angle is angle measuring less than 90 degree. Counter of that is or converse of that is obtuse angle. Angle measuring more than 90 degree but less than 180 degree. Obtuse angle, acute angle. Acute, obtuse. Acute and obtuse. Again, this terminology just you need to be familiar with, because they can be asked in questions as part of the questions. ऐसा इस पे directly सवाल नहीं आएगा. They would be asked as a part of the question, and to understand the question you need to know this terminology. ऐसा कुछ होगा. अगर होगा तो. We have not had many geometry questions, but every year 1-2 are sprinkled here and there. It is possible. Geometry is very easy once you get hang of it. So we should not be leaving those questions behind. We are seeing the PYQs. So far they are very easy, like doable even with observation. Again, we'll continue to see this throughout the booklet, that these questions are very easy. So acute angle, obtuse angle. Next is complementary angle and supplementary angle. Complementary angle of an angle is 90 minus given angle. For example, if my given angle is 30 degree, complementary angle of 30 degree would be 60 degree, 90 minus 30 degree. Okay. If given angle is 75 degrees, complementary angle of that would be 15 degrees. For any given angle, let us say alpha, this would be complementary angle of this alpha, right? Or I can draw a perpendicular like this, and this would be then complementary angle. These two angles would be same, whatever beta let us call it, right? So those two angles would be complementary angle of this given alpha. Again, it is defined only when angle is acute. 90 से छोटा होगा तभी वो डिफाइंड होगा. नेगेटिव एंगल का कोई हमारे लिए सेंस नहीं बनता मैथमेटिक्स में. अदरवाइज पीपल डू हैव सच representation, but for us angle should be positive. Another terminology is supplementary angle. Supplementary angle is 180 minus given angle. So if I have a straight line and if this is an angle, let us say alpha, then this angle would be its supplementary angle, because total is 180. So 180 minus alpha will be this angle. Total of half the angle is 180, straight angle, right? Are you guys clear with the terminologies? Pakka. Acute angle, just tell me acute angle is less than 90, obtuse angle more than 90, then straight angle 180 degrees, 180 degrees, complete angle or total angle 360 degrees, that angle which forms at a point, When you from a point draw multiple rays, angle that is formed at the point would be 360 degrees of complete angle or total angle. Now what else? Right angle 90 degree, very easy. Then what else did we study? Then complementary angle 90 minus given angle, and supplementary 180 minus given angle. Are you guys okay with terminologies? Should we move ahead? Right? Online students, chale aage. Are we going too fast? Is it fair? It is fine. Let me know if you have any difficulties. Yes, chale aage. Now we want to cover a bit or study a bit about parallel lines and some of their properties. Parallel lines, as we have already studied, these are non-intersecting lines. If you extend them both indefinitely in either direction, they will not intersect anywhere. So if this L and M are parallel lines and I draw a transverse to it, like another line which intersects both the line, so a lot of angles are getting formed, right? It will intersect in 2 points, lot of angles are getting formed, and they have certain specific properties. First is corresponding angles are equal. What are corresponding angles? This angle and this angle, or this angle and this angle, or this angle, this angle, or this angle and this angle. They are equal. Corresponding angle, जो ऊपर वाले को नीचे correspond करता है, both angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. ठीक है? Then vertically opposite angles are equal. ये और ये और ये. They are forming a straight line. Vertically opposite angles would be equal, right? Similarly, ये और ये और ये. And we also note that this y is equal to this correct side. Okay, these are corresponding, na? Dot is equal to x. These are corresponding angles, and opposite angles also equal. Then alternate interior angles are equal. What do we mean? Is ये जो Z shape form हो रहा है, the Z shaping ones, these are equal. The alternate angles are equal. The angles which form the Z shape are equal, and you can also see that as this angle is same as this opposite angle. This angle is same as this angle, corresponding. Fine. Similarly, other Z forming angle, ये और ये, these two angles are equal. Even if they are obtuse angle, they are still forming Z, they are still alternate angles, they will be equal. And what else? Finally, we can see that because this is a straight line, this angle plus this angle, x plus y, would be 180. Similarly, and this is equal to this, so these two angles, they are also 180 degrees. This y, then this would be x, again Z shape, interior angles, alternate angles, and this is x, so x plus y, again Z, straight angle, right? So all these things work out very beautifully when we see that in parallel lines, right? These are the angles that we have, and x plus y is 180 degrees. Okay, what have we covered? Corresponding angles are equal. Whatever they are corresponding to lower parallel line, when a transverse cuts it, the same would be angle for the upper parallel line where the transverse cuts it. Corresponding angles would be equal. Then we saw that alternate angles alternate interior angles, the Z shaping ones, they are equal, right? And then we saw that opposite angles are equal, that is true for all straight lines. So if I draw any two straight lines, opposite angles are always equal. Okay, fine, no problem in these properties. Corresponding angles, then interior angles which are alternate Z shaping ones, and opposite angles, and the straight angles are supplementary. These two angles are also supplementary, this plus this, because this is same as y. So these two angles are actually supplementary, their sum is 180 degree. Okay, with this there is no issue you will face for parallel lines. These are the only relevant properties. Now find this x, solve for this x. Question: instead of this 3, make it 30 so that you get a better answer. हाँ, कैलकुलेशन एरर मत करो यार. Do not make calculation error. Huh? Okay, good. This is simplest of question. मुझे 4 अलग आंसर मिले तुम लोगों से. Manisha is saying, Amrita is saying a different answer. Manisha is saying different answer. 15. Niranjan is saying different, and all of them are wrong. Yes, yeah, this is yes, Yashraj, that is correct. This is simplest of the problems that you can have. So because this is 120 degrees, the corresponding supplementary angle of this, so this angle would be 60 degrees. 180 minus 120, right? And this 2x plus 3 and 60 are equal. This is not 3, this is 30, let us say. Then 60 is equal to 2x plus 30. Now 30 you can take that side in subtraction, so we will have 30 is equal to 2x, so x is equal to 15, right? Alternatively, what you can do, you can say that because this is 120, this is also 120, opposite angles, and then sum of these two should be 180 because they are supplementary. So in that case you will have 120 plus 2x plus 30 is equal to 180. Now you solve again for this x, you will get the same answer. This is 120 plus 30 is 150. You can subtract 150, so you will get 2x is equal to 30, x is equal to 50. Either way is fine. Yes, Ashwini, that is correct. Manisha, where did you commit mistake? Was it a silly mistake on your part, I suppose? This kind of question can always get asked based on very elementary school geometry, but still lot of people will get it wrong. एकदम UPSC type का question है. They will not ask it so easily. They will make it little bit more challenging, I suppose. Any problem in whatever we have covered so far? No issues, absolutely sure. Online students, any issues so far? Please let me know. You guys don't speak, so I don't get to know you. I don't get to know if you are facing any difficulty, you're following, not following. If any one of you wants to communicate, speak, let me know. I have my headphone with me. We can chat, no issues. Should we move ahead? Yes, okay. I think today we are going at a brisk pace. So you understand that arithmetic में ज़्यादा time spend करना was worth it, because lot of questions are getting asked and you guys are especially facing difficulty in arithmetic. We had to spend little bit more time on arithmetic. Other chapters you will also be better prepared. You will be able to see what is happening in arithmetic. Lot of things happening are abstract, that is why you face difficulty. So that is why we spend more time on it. But now we should be able to accelerate a bit, not be but let me know if you face any difficulty. मुझे भागने मत देना, ठीक है? If you are facing any kind of difficulty, हाँ. Topics, Manisha, would be arithmetic, relative size of numbers, geometry and comprehension. Topics for the first test, because that is what we have covered till now, or we will cover in this week. That would be topics. The test I think we can have in on next Sunday. Are you guys comfortable? 26th. I will ask the management and let you know if you have if you are free, we can have it on Sunday, and if the classroom is available, you can have it on Sunday. ठीक है? By that time all the Diwali heroes should return, and make it after 26th. क्यों, क्या हुआ 26th को? हाँ, 26/11 मॉर्निंग करोगे? वुड यू बी मॉर्निंग? अच्छा, you can give it after 26, no issues. You can collect the paper and give it after 26. Ask the management when the classroom would be available. You can give it on next Sunday. Anyway, you will be having 2 weeks off, so you can give it on next Sunday. 2 week off का ये मतलब नहीं है कि CSAT कुछ करना ही नहीं है. Use the 2 weeks that you are getting as a break from me, not CSAT. Get a break from me, not CSAT. तो जो भी हमने अब तक कवर किया है, हाँ, रिवाइज करो, इंश्योर करो कि यू आर थोरो विथ इट. इफ यू आर इफ सम ऑफ यू आर फेसिंग डिफिकल्टी, यू कैन वॉच द लेक्चर्स अगेन एट 1.5x 2x, सो दैट वैसा ना हो कि वो भूल गया पहले वाला. सॉल्व द वर्कशीट्स, ऑफ कोर्स, ट्राई टू सॉल्व द PYQs ऑन योर ओन, and that's all. But ensure that this is going to be the last month, like December would be the last month where you can go all out on mains, because after January, even if some of you delay starting for prelims by 1 month or 2, that at the back of your mind you will start thinking about prelims one way or the other. So December and maximum January would be the months when you can go all out on mains. So please use these 2 weeks to ensure that you are covering a lot of ground for mains. Ensure you are covering a lot of ethics, optional, and parts like society, world history, which you will not study at all for your prelims. Ensure that you are thorough with them. And optional के लिए देख लेना, मतलब this should be the last hurrah this month and the next before the prelims. Fortunately, in between this time, next time, in between prelims and mains, you have a lot of gap, almost 100-day plus का gap है, which is beneficial for you as well as for your competitors. But if you cover a lot of ground with respect to optionals right now, you will find it that much easier when you pick it up again after prelims. Aim is not to clear prelims, aim is to clear this examination and feature in the holy PDF. Okay, तो ये मत सोचना कि बस प्रीलिम के लिए ही पढ़ना है. ensure that you are mains ready, as much mains ready as possible before you begin preparing for prelims wholeheartedly. Prelim tak videos would be accessible till prelims, so you can at your pace, even if you face difficulty later, you can watch the videos, no issues. You can discuss with me offline after 2nd of December. I'll be available. You can discuss definitely. तुम तो वैसे भी 26 तक नहीं हो यहाँ पे, 2 तारीख तक मैं नहीं हूँ. 2 तारीख के बाद डिस्कस कर लेना जो करना है. Okay. Let us come back to geometry. Plane. You understand what is a plane? Plane is a two-dimensional infinite space. So you can imagine this board as a plane. If it extends infinitely in all the direction, we call it a plane. A flat two-dimensional surface that extends indefinitely. Definitions, ये सब, these are not relevant for us. They were in perhaps in school. School में पूछा भी जा सकता था वो exam में. But right now, it is understanding that we are after. And in plane, we want to cover many planar curves and surfaces that are popular, that are examiners' favorite. Most favorite is of course circle. Circle is set of all those points which are at a constant distance from a fixed point. So what we do, we take a fixed point, right? We call it center, and then we fix some distance. We call it radius, and then we extend. We measure from that central point a point, and then all other points that are at the same distance as that point. याद है? Even in fields and all, whenever you want to measure a circle, you take a fixed point, you take a rope, and you just draw a circle. What you are doing, that rope length is your constant radius, that center is your center of circle, and all the points you are plotting would be the curve of circle in the given plane. In schools, you were asked to use your protractors to draw a circle, right? Remember? So that is what circle is. We are having all the points that are at constant distance from a fixed point. Fixed point called a center of circle. Constant distance is called radius of circle. All these points are at a constant distance of radius from this center of circle. Okay? Fine. Next shape is triangle. Triangle is a closed polygon having 3 angles, 3 vertices, 3 edges, 3 vertices. These are vertices of triangle. These are edges of triangle. 3 sides होती है triangle की, right? And 3 angles form होंगे. There will be 3 angles that will get formed due to such intersection. Any 3 non-collinear points would form a triangle. If we have 3 points like this, we cannot form a triangle. Obviously, this is a straight line because. But if you have after these 2 points, any point, third point anywhere but on this line. If we have third point anywhere but on this line, ये line छोड़ के कहीं पे भी point दे दो, कितना भी दूर, कितना भी पास, कितने भी angle पे कैसा भी दे दो, we will be able to form a triangle. So just like 2 points define the line, 3 points define a triangle or a plane. Triangle तो plane है ना, planar surface है. Whenever we define a triangle, we define a plane in which that triangle lies. So there are questions like this year also there was question asked that how many triangles can be formed using given points, set of points they were given. So we have to know that when can triangle be formed and when can it not be formed. When can it not be formed? If the 3 points are on the same line, then triangle cannot be formed. In all other cases, 3 points will give us triangle. Okay. The question was, as I think there is a square and we are choosing 1 point here, 2 points here and 1 point here randomly. On this edge we are choosing 2 points, on this edge we are choosing 2 points, and on these edges we are choosing these 2 points. So question was, how many triangles can be formed with three of these vertices, three of these points as vertices of a triangle? So what do we know? When can we form a triangle? Any 3 points when they are not collinear. एक line पे नहीं है तो any 3 points can form a triangle. Now in these 6 points, there are 6 points here. Are there any 3 collinear points? Are there any 3 points in one line? No. So out of these 6, you can choose any 3 and you will get a triangle. No problem. So what do we have? Here we have, let us say, point numbers. Let me give numbers to these points. So there are 6 points. These are different points. So answer would be simply 6 choose 3. Out of 6 vertices, choose any 3, you will get a triangle. Right? You will understand this 6 choose 3 operation better when we study permutations and combination. But that was all that needed to be done. So knowledge of geometry was relevant. Fortunately in this question there was no 3 collinear points, but had the question been something like this, if examiner had prepared some question like this, now what would you do? Now you have to remove that possibility, right? So whatever answer you will get, for example here you will solve as it is. You will say that the way in which I can choose 3 points in out of these points is 7. I think there are 7 now. 7 choose 3. So these many triangles I get if there is no other condition, but I have one condition. What condition? That if by mistake I choose these 3 points, I will not get a triangle. So I have to remove that, right? So that is how geometry knowledge might become relevant for you guys. ठीक है? Now, very famous Pythagoras theorem. You should be aware about it. You have studied it in your schools, your colleges. It is one of the oldest geometry result known to us. Of course, Pythagoras is credited with this, but it was known in India even before Pythagoras. If you read about it in Shulba Sutra, which was written around 800 BC, 800-700 BC, in Shulba Sutra, Pythagoras theorem is mentioned. So that is at least 500 years before Pythagoras was there. So Indians of course knew this and they were using it as well. What does it say? It simply says that in a right angled triangle. What is right angled triangle? One of the 3 angles of triangle is 90 degree. Right? That is right angled triangle. In a right angled triangle, hypotenuse square is one side square plus second side square. So here a square plus b square is equal to c square. Simple, very easy. There is a book, actual book called 400 Proofs of Pythagoras Theorem. There are many proofs of this Pythagoras theorem. I'll tell you one of my favorites, just as a brain teaser. You can take it. It's very intuitive, very geometrically visible. What we do is I draw a square. This is a square. Square meaning all the 4 sides are equal and all these angles are 90 degree. Okay, this is called a square. पता होगा तुम्हें, but that is what square is. All the 4 sides equal, or all the angles at the vertex are 90 degree. Then I formed few right angle triangles. Okay. I call this side as C, this side as, let us say, B, this is A, then this is B, this is A, this is B, this is A, this is B, this is A. So this is a square with side A plus B, right? This is a square with side A plus B, and this is a square with side C inside, right? So in this arrangement, I try to calculate this area of the square. What is area of the square? Square of the side. So it is A plus B square, right? It is also equal to sum of squares or sum of areas of these four triangles plus area of this internal square, right? Area of this plus this plus this plus this plus area of this square that is inside. What is area of this triangle? Height into base by 2, which is A into B by 2. I will give list of all these formulas of areas and volumes and surface areas of popular faces. Area of triangle is half into base into height. Base here is A, height can be taken as B. So area is AB by 2, and there are 4 such triangles, same sides, plus what is area of this internal square? C square. Okay, now what we have is A plus B bracket square we can expand, A square plus 2AB plus B square. How do we know this? मोदी जी ने कनाडा में जाके स्पीच में बोला था. If you don't know, remember, I don't know if you saw this thing. That extra 2AB comes, so extra 2B is in India and Canada. That was the point he was trying to make, that एक और एक 11 होता है in case of India and Canada. But anyway, that came out very embarrassingly wrong. I don't know how his speech writers didn't tell him. That is stupid. And that is 4 into AB by 2 is 2AB, right? 2AB cut. What do we get? A square plus B square is equal to C square, as required by Pythagoras. ठीक है? There are multiple proofs. As I said, there are more than 400 proofs of this theorem. There is not a single proof. You can have any number of proofs of this Pythagoras theorem as you want. But again, this is one of my favorite ones because it doesn't require much. First, arrangement is the only thing that is required. No other mathematics is required, and areas we equate. So you should know the Pythagoras theorem because it will be used not only in geometry, it will be used also in your LR. There are questions like person comes out of the house, goes left by 50 kilometers, then goes north by 30 kilometers, etc. So there, if you have to calculate distances, Pythagoras theorem is something which is often adopted. So you should know this theorem, that in a right angle triangle, sum of squares of two sides is equal to sum of square square of hypotenuse. Okay, this is called hypotenuse and others are sides. Next is Pythagorean triplets. These are nothing but the numbers which follow Pythagoras theorem or Pythagoras theorem's rule. So 3, 4 is these are positive integers a, b, c, that fits the rule a square plus b square equal to c square. So 3, 4, 5 is smallest such triplet. 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, sum is 25, if it is same as 5 square. So 3, 4, 5 is called Pythagorean triplet. समझ गए? Pythagorean triplet is 3 numbers, set of 3 numbers such that they follow the rule of Pythagoras theorem. In other words, they can form the sides of right angle triangle, right? If this is a Pythagorean triplet, then all multiples of the Pythagorean triplets are also Pythagorean triplet. So 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triplet. So any 3n, 4n, 5n would be a Pythagorean triplet. So 6, 8, 10 or 9, 12, 9, 12, 15. You multiply this 3, 4, 5 by any number and you will get a new Pythagorean triplet. 6, 8, 12, 9, 12, 15, etc. etc. You can multiply this 3, 4, 5 by any number and you will get a new triplet. Triplet meaning every such set of 3 numbers will follow Pythagoras theorem rule, or they can be sides of right angle triangle. That is what we are saying. समझ गए? Now these are other famous triplets. If you remember them, it will be quite beneficial. If the question is asked, you can just directly put the values 5, 12, 13, 8, 6, 8, 10, 7, 24, 25, 8, 15, 17. You can try to remember some of them. For example, this you should remember. Then you can remember this. That's all. These you can remember. These if you forget, that is all right. These are called Pythagorean triplets. Understand what is Pythagorean triplet? Pythagorean triplet is such 3 numbers or set of 3 numbers. 5, 12, 13 doesn't follow the rule. Let us see. करना तो चाहिए. 5 square plus 12 square is equal to 25 plus 144 equal to 169, which is same as 13 square. फॉलो करता है? क्यों नहीं करता यार? मनीषा करता है कि नहीं करता है? चेक कर लो, बिल्कुल करता है. No, that is different. That is correct. That every such triplet need not be 3n, 4n, 5n. We are saying 3n, 4n, 5n will be all 3n, 4n, 5n will be triplets. But we are not saying that all triplets should be of the 3n, 4n, 5n form. There could be other triplets, no problem. But 3n, 4n, 5n are definitely triplets. That is what we are saying. For example, if we have this 5, 12, 13 as one triplet, then what is our point? All those numbers of the form 5n, 12n and 13n, they will also form the triplet. That is what our point is. We are not saying all triplets will be of this form. We are saying they will be triplets. Difference है. हम बोल रहे हैं कि ऐसे जो भी है वो सारे ट्रिपलेट्स होंगे, पाइथागोरस का रूल फॉलो करेंगे. हम ये नहीं बोल रहे हैं कि सारे जो ऐसे नंबर पाइथागोरस का रूल फॉलो करते हैं वो ऐसी फॉर्म के होने चाहिए. वो कोई नहीं है. दे कैन बी डिफरेंट. देयर आर मेनी अदर पाथ्स टू ग्रेटनेस. वी आर नॉट सेइंग दैट. For example, if we can even prove this, if I write 5n square plus 12n square, what will this be? This will be 25n square. This will be 144n square, which is equal to 169n square, and root of this 169n square will be 13n, which is what third number is. ठीक है? See, solve this question, CSE 2029 and 2016. Solve these three questions very quickly and you are free to go home. करो करो तीनों करो, हो गया तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन करो. Okay, let me know you when you are done. बताओ हो गया कि नहीं? Why are you taking so much time? थर्ड बचा है. Okay, first let us see. There are three towns. The distance between P and Q is 60. The distance between P and R is 80. Q is in the west of P and R is in the south of P. What is the distance between Q and R? What are they saying? Q is to the west of P. So always take this direction ना, अपना जो map पे होता है ना, whatever we have in the world map, take directions as per that. It doesn't go wrong. So north is up, south is down, then this is east and this is west. If you take direction like this, it would be convenient for you as well. So we have Q is in the west of P and R is in the south of P. So the arrangement is something like this. And now what are the distances? P and Q is 60, P and R is 80. We already know the triplet 3, 4, 5 or 6, 8, 10. So this would be 6, 8, 10. वह एक एक जीरो बढ़ाया है बस 10 से मल्टीपल है. So it would be 100 P and R. Let us see. Next question. AB is a vertical trunk of a huge tree, A being the point where base of the trunk touches the ground. A is, so this is something like this. A is this point. Then what happens? Due to cyclone, the trunk broken at C, which is at height of 12 meter. So trunk breaks here. This is 12 meter, but remains partially attached to the vertical point of the trunk at C. And end of the broken part B touches the ground at D, which it has distance 5 meter. So this breaks and this is the point B. The tree is something like this now. This is from 5, no? Then the original height of tree is what? So you know the triplet 5, 12, 13. So this is 13. तो इसको फिर से खड़ा कर दोगे. If you make it erect again, tree height of tree is AC plus B, AC plus CB. So 13 plus 12, 25. Is there any particular way to solve the questions? Just read the question and plot the information. Do not overthink. There has to be some particular method to some every particular question. No need. Just plot whatever you know and what is the closest thing that you remember. This is clearly a Pythagoras theorem question. You, as soon as you remember this 12 meter, this 5, so you know the triplet 5, 12, 13. So somewhere it will click to you. If it doesn't, just solve by Pythagoras theorem. This is 5, this is 12, then this is what? Root of 5 square plus 12 square. You can solve it and get it as 13. Just plot whatever information is there in the question onto your paper. Do not overthink, do not overburden yourself. Simplify things for you. And do not get bogged down by the question's length. Last questions of the day. A person walks 12 km north and then 15 east. See, he walks 12 north. Person starts from here, let us say. He walks 12 north, then 15 east, then 19 west. 19 west is 15 back and 4 here, and then 15 south. So 15 south. How far is he from starting point? So you know that this is 4, this is 15, this is 12, so this is 3. What would be this? 5. ठीक है? Just plot the question, go with the question, go with the flow, and you will get your answer at the end. Don't make it more difficult than it has to be. Yeah, okay. Tomorrow we'll start with quadrilateral. And let us see if we can finish our geometry tomorrow and start with comprehension. Okay. We'll try to finish geometry tomorrow, or we will rather finish geometry tomorrow. But there are a lot of PYQs that remain. That is why I said we will try. But I think we should be able to finish geometry tomorrow and start with comprehension maybe tomorrow in the end or on Sunday. Fine. If you have any issues, you can ask, or else we can meet tomorrow. Have a good day. Uh, no. I think the validity is still prelims. Videos की validity pre तक है ना? हाँ, the videos will be valid. You'll be able to access till prelims. Anything else? Okay. Have a good day, guys.